On this week's ADCs of Wrestling, we talk about the return of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. It's actually happening. This is crazy. Also, everybody's turning heel. Lashley's heel. The Bellas are heel. Hey, that's kind of nuts. And The Undertaker joins us for just 2 tweets.
Ah, thank you. It's good to be here.
Not yet, you idiot.
Oh, shit.
Let's go.
Let's go!
Let's go! Oh, hell yeah!
Are you ready for a show with questionable wrestling impressions by a guy I know?
Yeah.
ADC!
Ooh, yeah, dig it.
ADC!
Let me tell you something, ADC.
He watches wrestling!
Matt the Morgan's awesome,
Do you know your ADCs, the ADCs of wrestling?
Welcome to the ADCs of Wrestling, the crown jewel of WWE podcast, the evolution of the genre. I'm Mr. Some Days Off, the man occasionally worthy of being called the Weird Al of Wrestling. Andrew David Cox, joined once again by the one, the only, Kevin, don't call me Matt the Mark Michie. How you doing, Kevin?
Is that what we're calling me now? I thought it was Kevin. It's not like the Mouse Mickey or something like that.
That works
And
too.
Is this the ADCs of Wrestling 1000? Is that where we are? Or
Yeah.
is this the Survivor Series edition of ADCs of Wrestling?
Yeah. It's ADCW 1000 for sure. That's definitely got to be true. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just can't keep track of all the events that ADC is putting on. It's just it's wild these days.
Well, it certainly feels like ADC Dub 1000, but I think it's like only episode 22 or something.
Fuck yeah, I'm happy to be here for episode number 22.
Yes, that's right. We're going to have some news from around the world of pro wrestling. We're going to talk a little bit about the Super Showdown. I didn't even watch it. No. We're going to talk Raw and SmackDown Live, as well as take a look at how the cards are shaping up for WWE Evolution, as well as the impending Crown Jewel show from Saudi Arabia. And then, of course, we're going to have just 2 tweets. And apparently the Undertaker wants to get in on this a little bit during the,
Oh, no way. All
the
right.
fave segment of the Foundation, because there were a couple questions for him. So I'll let him respond in kind. Kevin?
Yes.
As I mentioned already, I did not watch the Super Showdown.
Okay.
I don't feel like I missed anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can you tell me if there's anything important about that show or what your opinion of that show is?
All right. So before I do that, do you have Super Showdown on your PVR?
I deleted it from my DVR.
I was going to say, step 1, open your DVR. Step
Okay.
2, delete Super Showdown. So you've already completed the steps. Here's the only thing that I think was worthwhile from Super Showdown. AJ Joe, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Do you need to see it? No, probably not. It was
Sweet.
good, though. It was good. And the Cruiserweight match was also quite good.
Okay.
Do you need to see it? Your life will go on having not seen it. That's what I'll tell you. The term glorified house show. That's what we're labeling this, right? That's what everybody's labeling this.
It gets bandied about a lot, but I think it's probably extremely accurate because it seemed like everything that happened at that show was something that would have happened at a house show and would have kept the booking status quo so that they could go forth with television, do the exact same shit that they just did, and keep it all strung along for a little while longer. Because watching Raw, I don't feel like I missed a damn thing. They recapped what happened at the end of the Taker-Kane match and everything, and I was just like, okay, I'm caught up. I get it.
Yeah, Andrew, let me fill you in on something. You are absolutely correct
Sweet.
in your assessment. Nothing that happened on Super Showdown, you didn't need to see anything because it was all recapped on Raw and SmackDown, and then it also happened again. It seemed like almost every match. I don't know. I haven't seen 205 live, so I don't know if Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy had another match. So maybe they did. Who knows? And they put on another classic. But you didn't. You're not missing anything on this
sweet.
glorified house
Sweet,
show.
too sweet, me guys. That's too sweet. That's awesome. I'm so happy I missed literally nothing. Really jacked up about that. Here's something else that's kind of being talked about a lot as of late, and I know you love to keep your eye on this. You always come to talk to me about this. There's lots of talk about WWE viewership as of late, with them reaching a record low as far as Raw's numbers are concerned. Does this concern you? Do you care?
No.
Is it interesting?
I mean, I'm always intrigued by it, by ratings in general, but I don't know, working in the TV industry, I think you can look at ratings and you can get them to tell you whatever you want them to tell you. You can look at them and say, oh, viewership's low. It must mean the product's bad. Or it could mean that it's just a tough time of year. Monday Night Football's back. Every other sport in the world is currently running. Kids are back to school, I think, and just wrestling in general is cyclical. It has its peaks and valleys, and maybe right now we're in a valley, but come Royal Rumble time, let's say, I'm sure it'll hit another peak, and then heading into WrestleMania, it'll get up again. And yes, I do keep track of the numbers, particularly in Canada. And yes, this week's numbers were not solid. In Canada either, but they were solid a month and a half ago before football started, and when people still had some free time. So. No, it doesn't concern me. Does it concern you? Is it news to you?
Not so much concern, because if you look at the WWE stock price and everything, they're doing just fine. Obviously, they're
if you look at Vince's pockets,
they're positively overflowing. What concerns me more is the oversaturation of the product and the amount of shows that they're putting on, and the fact that my interest as a quote-unquote super fan is completely waning. And it's just so much of the same, and I have a really hard time keeping up with it because they just demand so much of the viewers lately that it's just like enough already. And I think that that's probably part, if not all, of why numbers for Raw are going down, because you just know, look, I can tune in once a month and I could probably stay afloat, and I could just watch the pay-per-views, or I could just watch the important pay-per-views and not miss a damn thing, because so much of it is just rinse, repeat, and do it again the next day, and it just doesn't matter anymore. So I think that's more the actual problem, is just the fact that there's too much of it, so people's attention is spread thin. And that's probably where the problem is. As far as actual ratings go and things, they just signed a mega deal with Fox. They're going to be fine. They're going to get however many $1 million from the Saudi Arabia when they go to Crown Jewel. It's not an actual crisis, as people like to think of it, especially when you consider the fact that it's DVRs and all that other stuff that people like to talk about ad nauseum. But I don't know. That's just where my feelings are. But right now I'm trying to tough it out until Rumble season to see if I give a shit again.
This is a really tough month. You're right, in terms of oversaturation, because we just did the Super Showdown. We have SmackDown 1000.
Super Slowdown.
That's the one. My bad, Hunter. And then we have Evolution. We have the Mae Young Classic is also running right now, and I keep hearing how great it is. Ask me if I've watched any of it.
Me neither, man. Have you watched any of it?
Jesus Christ, I told you to ask.
God damn it, when Kevin Michie tells you to ask him a question, you ask, you piece of trash. I'll tell you what's viewership just went up. The ADCs are resident because Kevin Michie's back. Goddamn, kid, it's good to hear your voice.
It's thank God, Steve. Thank God you showed up there, because ADC is being a real prick interrupting me. So I'm glad you're here to run shit finally.
Swing a beer for Mickey. Don't call him Matt the Mark, because Matt the Mark's a pregnant little bitch.
Wow. I was wondering when we would hear for Steve, and he made his presence felt strongly.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck we were talking about, but it doesn't matter anymore.
He just woke up. He's hungover as shit, man. He's hungover.
My head is pounding. Oh, goddamn.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about Kevin Owens, because we'll get Steve in there again.
You gotta lay those stunners in, kid.
There we go. That's the only thing we need to talk about. Perfect.
It's a finisher.
Yes, it is. Nobody can do it like you, Steve.
I'll fucking give you an example right now.
I'm sure you will. He's like really close to me right now. It's very uncomfortable.
I saw him. He's just right up in your fucking face.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, this is totally random, but did you see the video of Shaggy Two Dope attempting to dropkick Fred Durst off stage this past week?
Yes, I did.
I couldn't let that slide.
Man, what? The 90s are back, and boy, are they still terrible.
Yeah, The Undertaker and Triple H are wrestling. Shawn Michaels and Kane are out there. Fred Durst and Shaggy Two Dope are commanding the stage as never before.
The era is back.
You know what? Is Limp Bizkit in the Hall of Fame? The WWE Hall of Fame? I feel like they are, just because they're like WWE's band.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. They might be.
Well, all I know is that Shaggy Two Dope wishes he was in the Hall of Fame. I'm sure he'd be in the WCW Hall of Fame if WCW were to still exist, because Insane Clown Posse, they were great with Vampiro and WCW.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that.
Kidding.
Want to talk about this week in wrestling? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's sort of go through how the Crown Jewel show is shaping up. The most important thing, obviously, really the only thing we need to talk about this week, is the fact that Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, has returned, I guess, in some form.
Does he think he's cute? Does he think he's sexy?
Well, he's got the moves that make the Performance Center go wild, I guess. So he's back in action for one more match or like a bunch more matches. Where do you think this leads? Because right now we got DX versus the Brothers of Destruction, and I think I speak for a lot of people in saying that this is not the program that we expected to see if HBK did decide to come out of retirement. Is this just a way to get our dip our toe and see how it goes? Is this just the slow introduction, a la what they did with Kurt Angle and the Shield? I mean, what are we doing here? Why is it DX versus Brothers of Destruction?
Well, I mean, if you want to boil it down to one simple why, it's money in Saudi Arabia.
There you go.
Which this opens up a big can of worms.
Preach, kid. It's all about the dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah, swig a beer. The prince in Saudi Arabia. Let's put politics aside because he's done some pretty awful things out there. This Saudi Arabian government.
Mm-hmm.
He apparently loved his late 90s WWE. Who is still around? The Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. He's back. What is a little disconcerting to me is the fact that, like, Shawn Michaels, he stayed true to his word. He stayed retired. But now all of the money in the world, it's just a dump truck of money, has backed up to this ranch in San Antonio, Texas, has dumped it on his doorstep. And Shawn just went, well, all right then. It's like, Shawn, you're just coming out for the money?
Yep.
Because, like, if I don't want to speak ill of the greatest wrestler that ever existed, Shawn Michaels, but if that's all it took is money, you don't think that Vince could have been like, well, goddamn, pal, here's $1 million to go out and wrestle AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
Goddamn, be a sexy boy one more time.
I get why it's happening. It's money. It's entering into a new market, making that market pop. It's an agreement with the Saudi Arabian government, but I don't like it. I get it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, Shawn's just
Like, all this money will help me control the deer population of San Antonio, Texas.
I'll shoot them all.
Not a deer is going to be safe, unfortunately. That makes me
I don't
sad.
know. Like, are you fired up to see him back? I mean, I'm happy that he's back because, like, I like HBK, but, like, did he need to come back? No.
I mean, okay, I've said before on this pod, Shawn Michaels was actually my fave growing up. Like, bar none, my favorite wrestler. I was too young to understand that everybody hated him and he was the Roman Reigns of his era because he was too damn good in ring and he was fantastic. And then obviously he came back and everybody loved him. But I'm excited at the prospect of another match. I just feel like this is the most underwhelming thing ever to have him come out and have the Undertaker and Kane be the guys that somehow get his attention, and like a half-baked DX, reincarnation with the stupid T-shirts, and it's just so weak. I'm really hoping this is leading towards one of those, I really want to see if the old dog still has what it takes against one of these young bucks. And, we get him in the ring with an AJ Styles or a Daniel Bryan, master and teacher. It has to lead to one of those things for any of this to really be worth it. And that's if Shawn can even still go. But the guy looks like he's in fantastic shape. I mean, I could probably do an entire show on the fact that everybody freaked out that he's bald. Like, he's just not allowed to go bald.
Yeah.
I remember watching WrestleMania 25 with some friends of mine who hadn't watched wrestling in a while. And the first thing they said when Shawn Michaels was like hanging off the turnbuckle and his hair was hanging down, they're like, man, HBK is going super bald.
Yeah, this was a big bald spot on the top of his head.
This was like a decade ago. Yeah. So, yeah, the guy shaved his head. It's cool. He's now more sexy boy than ever, in my opinion. And I could say that because I'm bald. And I'm not biased at all.
Yeah, bald brothers unite, definitely. I mean, I don't know. I think you hit the nail on the head. And also, Sean has always been my favorites. Him and Brett were kind of 1A, 1B for me.
Stop trying to copy my shit, man.
All grown up. No, that's my shit. You're copying my shit. So go fuck yourself.
Wow.
Sorry. I got a little.
Go fuck yourself, kid.
Shut up, Steve. Finish your song.
No.
I knew where that was going.
So I mean, is the DX thing, whatever, fuck, I don't know. It seems like that's probably what the Saudi prince was just like, cool. DX was cool in my day, so like bring it back. And Vince
Are they allowed to say
right.
suck it in Saudi Arabia? That seems like a super off, color thing to do.
I mean, yes, probably not. They don't allow like women to dance in Saudi Arabia, so I can't imagine like suck it is
Triple H going to be out there doing motions to his crotch? Should he be doing that in PG era WWE? Should a 47-year-old man be motioning to his dick region?
His genitalia. The answer is no. Should this even still exist? No.
Yeah.
But you're right. It'd be cool if it led to like Michaels, Daniel Bryan. It just like it's unfortunate that this has to be the first stepping stone to get there. Fuck.
Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it a bit more in the Just Two Tweets section of the show. Also, shaping up for Crown Jewel is Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. We were kind of fantasy booking how that might go.
That was a super weird finish to the Super Showdown. Just like real quick, all of a sudden it was over. I was like, it legitimately surprised me how fast that happened.
There's a lot of speculation that was because of Daniel taking that headbutt to Shelton Benjamin on SmackDown last week. Did you see that?
I did. I did not see that rumor, though.
Yeah, people were wondering if they cut it short because maybe they were worried about his health after what had happened, and they were giving him, as it were, like time off without actually taking time off. You know what I mean? Like the match was super quick. Just get in, get out. Don't take any real bumps. I mean, I don't know if there's any truth to that rumor, but it kind of makes sense.
Would get it. I mean, yeah, you want one of your top guys as healthy as they can, especially considering his injury history. So, I don't know. It was surprising and it was unique, and I actually didn't mind that. That's the Super Slowdown.
Whatever.
Showdown.
They sped up the slowdown for a minute,
Oh, yeah. Very
hilarious.
Good. AJ D-Bry, I mean, we had it on SmackDown, kind of a dusty finish at the end, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be pretty sweet.
Yeah, we were talking about it maybe being at SmackDown 1000. I guess that wasn't what they were thinking about. They were thinking all about the Crown Jewel and the big show. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's entertaining. They like to gang up on The Miz a lot, who's apparently a 2-minute man. So there's that.
Here's what I can guarantee. It will not main event the show because the WWE title hasn't main evented a WWE event ever, I don't think.
Yeah, back in the day, even when Bruno Sammartino held the title, it was middle of the card.
Yeah, it was Tito Santana and superstar Billy Graham on the undercard.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, guys. Miz's junk sucks, okay? He's 2-minute man. Ha! Hilarious, right? Too sweet me. Just so funny. What'd you think of Miz bringing up the fact that AJ Styles has been a champ and he's not been the focal point of the title picture or anything like that? The cards. You know what I'm trying to say. He's been mid-card.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's been thinking. So again, Miz is just bringing up real life. I think it's a good point. And also, it also shows me that the WWE doesn't give a shit that he is on the main card because they're willing to bring it up and talk about it.
I think that means that they don't think it's as big a deal as we do. You know what I mean? They're not as traditionalist, and they're just like, look, guys, calm down, okay? There's a reason. We have 2 shows. One has to be the B shows. It's SmackDown. Get over it.
And the WWE title held by the best wrestler on the planet right now. Let's call it the best wrestler in WWE because, Kenny Omega's out there.
Sure.
But he's just never going to main event ever again in his life.
Nope.
The WWE title is never going to main event again unless Triple H wins the title and then him and Shawn wrestle at WrestleMania.
Never again. Too sweet me. There was much ado about the WWE World Cup this week, which sort of came out of nowhere. To determine the best in the world, which they brought out in Chicago, which I thought was kind of funny. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but they probably did. So Rey Mysterio returning to WWE full-time. That's big news coming out of this. He's facing Nakamura next week at SmackDown 1000 to qualify for the World Cup. I mean, I feel like that's a foregone conclusion. You have to have Ray go over Shinsuke at this point, who is completely lost in all of this right now.
He's just going around backstage going, it's like, oh yeah, just let him do his thing.
Exactly.
Why don't we run through who's qualified for the World Cup so far and what countries are represented?
Well, see, so here's where I think it's weird, the representation of your country kind of thing. I mean, we've got a few Americans already. You're going to have a lot of Americans because it's WWE and most of their talent come from the United States. But like if you're having Ray represent, Mexico.
He's from San Diego.
Yeah, and he's a United States
that.
citizen,
Yeah.
and he's from the USA. But shouldn't he be going up against like another American and have Shinsuke go up against somebody else so you get like a Japanese representation as well? Because
Yes.
at this point, one of them is going to lose, right? So you're going to have that cut in half. John Cena qualified by
American.
by growing his hair, I guess. That's how he got in. Kurt Angle.
American.
Is he representing Mexico as El Conquistador or the Conquistador, according to JoJo?
That's the most athletic I've ever seen Kurt Angle be, and just like so gently somersault across the ring. I was just like, this is the best Kurt Angle I've ever seen. Who else qualified?
I totally forgot about like the Edge and Christian connection to the Conquistador, like the history of all that, and like the Hardys dressing up as the Conquistadors. And
Oh man, that was actually I recently watched those Raws and SmackDowns and going through that, and like it was so good because the angle was if the Hardys beat Edge and Christian, it's like Edge and Christian would never get a tag team title match against the Hardys ever again. So they dressed up as the Conquistadors, and every time they did an interview, they just stood there and went,
yeah, exactly.
see. It was so fucking good. It was amazing.
And in my head, for some reason at first, I'm just like, what is that, Rhino in there or something? I was like, did they pack Rhino into that costume?
Just
Because
a big bastard.
Heath Slater had just been totally denigrated in the backstage. And then I thought, wouldn't it be hilarious if that was just the last time we ever saw Heath Slater? Like, he just retired after that.
Going out on top.
It's like, hey, you know what? I'm not good, and I got kids. He just left. Rumor has it he's still sat in the hallway.
He's still sitting there. But yeah,
So-
Cena, American. Angle, American. Randy Orton, American. Jeff Hardy, American. Ah, yes, the World Cup
Yep.
flourishing with all the countries of the world.
I guess we could talk about the matches a little bit. I mean, the Conquistador thing was pretty good. Did you enjoy this whole segment? A lot of people were pissed about this, but just like the jobbers they assembled and being like, this is a mockery. And all I could think was, I mean, calm down. This is more original than half the other crap we're watching tonight.
Yeah, I didn't get bothered by that at all. I thought it was funny. I don't know. Baron Corbin, I thought was pretty good in it. I didn't really have an issue with him.
And there's a lot of talk about a possible Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle situation, like a Team Corbin, Team Angle at Survivor Series for control of Raw.
Right.
So
That'd be kind of fun.
that checks out. I would like to see Kurt get his last singles match against somebody that matters, and probably not a Baron Corbin. If I had my pick, it wouldn't be him. I don't know who it would be. Maybe somebody else smaller that could run around him like a Finn Balor or somebody who needs a real rub. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. To be honest, I don't give a shit about
Kurt anymore?
No, not really. I mean, if he's just GM and doesn't do a lot more than that, that's fine with me. But other than that, don't need to see him.
Yeah, it's not bad. He'll just come out and say WWE and Raw is SmackDown Live and stuff.
Welcome to WWE Chicago.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, go. All right, yeah, carry on.
So like I said, John Cena qualified by doing nothing. Looks super weird with long hair.
He gave a nice speech in Australia. That's why he qualified.
Oh, right. Jeff Hardy
at the end of a match.
Jeff Hardy going after the slightly softened Samoa Joe. I kind of enjoyed that match, the referee stoppage. I thought that was kind of cool and different. Protects Joe a little bit. We don't see it every week.
Apparently, I read that Joe's hurt again, so they may be trying to shield him a little bit.
Sounds right. Yeah. And then Orton defeating a returning Big Show, whom they gave a full, video package and surrounded him with lots of regalia, only to remind us that he is the world's largest jobber. Well,
he is still going to find a way into this World Cup tournament somehow. He's got to be on the crown jewel card because you know that the Saudi prince knows who the Big Show is.
You're right.
The Giant. So he's gonna be on that card somehow.
Also on that card, there's a triple threat for the Universal title. This feels super cold right now. Like, I've forgotten that Roman Reigns is the champion, that Brock Lesnar is going to be in this match, and that there's a third party whom, as I'm speaking right now, I can't remember who it is. It's Braun Strowman. Oh my god! Good lord! Is that your reaction?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna watch that match, and I'm probably gonna enjoy it. But just like the lead up has just kind of been like, oh fuck, come on! And it's just like Brock's not gonna win. Brock's going to fight Daniel Cormier early next year, and he's not gonna win. No.
You want to know what I did when Paul Heyman came out on Monday?
What'd you do?
I slapped the fast forward button 3 times. This is as fast as it goes. And as soon as I saw not Paul Heyman talking, I hit play. Because I knew it mattered not. And it was just going to be him talking about how he's going to be the reigning, defending, whatever. I actually hit play in the middle of it, and Heyman was just, reigning, defending, and I fast forwarded again.
It's like, all right,
perfect timing. I was like, I knew exactly what he's going to be saying. It was really fun.
Yeah, you didn't miss a lot there because the main point was he was just like, oh yeah, Brock's gonna be the first 2-sport champion. I was like, all right, I've heard that before. And he's gonna be the reigning, defending, and then you hit fast forward again, so you didn't miss much.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
it was like, ladies and gentlemen, fast forward. Let's see what he's saying. Play, reigning, defend, fast forward, and that was it.
And then the Shield comes out.
Yeah. And then people cheer Roman Reigns' music because it's Roman with 2 other guys. How do we feel about this Dean Ambrose situation?
I mean, sure, it's unique. I think the slow burn kind of works. You get 52 weeks of television to cover, so the slow burn makes sense to me. And be cool if there is a swerve at the end. I'm just saying, like if Dean stays true to his morals or something like that, and Roman turns, or just fucking Seth turns again.
Yeah, speaking of swerves, like, is it too much of a telegraph for us to actually expect Dean to turn heel, despite how much I clearly want him to, because I'm making goofy 80s songs about it on the show?
Yes, it is too easy, therefore it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Or it's so easy that it has to happen at this point.
I don't know what I think about it.
No,
but I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's unique, and the way they went off the air on Monday was fine with me, where he just walks off, and Michael Cole doesn't say a fucking thing, and they're out of there.
I would love it if Dean just kept saying these things to the point that, like, they just ignored it, and they're just like, yeah, he just always says that. Which is like, if I wasn't such a nice guy, and they're like, yeah, we know, you'd be world champion right now. It's like, that's right. All right, let's go fuck some shit up. They're just like, okay,
I'd be Intercontinental Champion. All right. I'd be Universal Champion. Okay, let's fucking go. We got a match.
We know, Dean, you'd be this, you'd be that. He's like, if I was a little cooler in high school, yeah, we know, you would have been Homecoming King. We get it. Like, just calm down, Dean.
If I drove a little slower, I wouldn't get so many speeding tickets. All right. All right.
Yeah, not a man of action, Dean Ambrose. Just a man of would-be, could-be's, should-be's.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't.
I think there's definitely money in a Dean heel turn. I want Dean heel.
Oh, yeah, big time. I think they call him Deal at that point.
That's
Dean
terrible.
Heel.
That's a terrible name.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. I guess we should probably talk about Evolution. It's a pay-per-view. There's only women. There's no dudes.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. The biggest news surrounding that this week was definitely the Bellas turning on Ronda Rousey.
You're not going to like me for this, but
Uh-oh.
I do not want to talk about it just because I believe that talking about the two who turned on Ronda gives them credibility, and I don't think they deserve any credibility, so I don't want to talk about them.
Wow.
God damn, that's a strong stance, kid.
I'll talk about anything else on the card, though.
I mean, we kind of have to. It's like the biggest thing that happened to the women's division on Raw.
Cool, man. I think Ronda Rousey could be the biggest star in WWE, but she's saddled with 2 fucking idiots who don't know how to wrestle and stuck in a past generation.
Wow. That's strong. Well, I think it's better than Rousey being buddies with them.
It's much better.
To have the heel thing. She's going to have to beat Nikki Bella, right?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, this is a podcast. You have to talk about it.
Here's what I think. Sorry, scared my dog. I was pretty harsh there before. I don't mean the Bellas are like.
No, you just mean Brie Bella.
I just they're from a past. They're from the past for me, and I get that WWE's bringing wrestlers in from the past for this card, but I feel like they're trying to incorporate the Bellas as part of this new stable of women when I feel like they so clearly don't fit in, and it just goes against some of the new wrestling that we could be getting. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Ronda Rousey should be by herself. She should be wrestling somebody else, just because like this. I just don't give a shit.
I don't mind it. I think it's kind of a passing of the torch. I think Nikki Bella will hopefully.
No torch to pass from her.
I hope. Well, she's kind of like the female John Cena of WWE. She's the one who does all this Make-A-Wish stuff. She's the one that's, she's got the corporate backing because she's been around for a long time. They have the TV shows, all that stuff, but she can't keep it up forever. She's been kind of the face of the women's division for a long time. And yeah, the face is changing, and I think that whether it's, right at Evolution or a bit later after like a 3-match series, who knows how things will actually finish. I don't know how much I would love Nikki Bella winning the championship for Ronda Rousey at Evolution, but it is possible. But I see it as like a way to solidify Ronda as that next top babyface. And I think, the fact that the Bellas have all this heat, I think it's just classic booking. They're just like, you know what? People want to hate them. They're doing exactly what the fans wish they would do with Roman Reigns, with the Bellas. People are like, boo, hiss, we hate these chicks. We don't like what they do. We think they suck. We think they've been pushed unfairly. So guess what? They turned heel on somebody that everybody loves. And now we're hopefully going to see her get to go out there and, beat their asses. So why not? I'm okay with it. And that's coming from a guy who's been bored to shit with everything on television lately.
I mean, you make good comments. I also agree that Nikki she's been very good on the WWE corporate side in terms of her Make-A-Wish campaigns. And
Nikki's not that bad in the ring either. Brie is obviously like super sloppy and botch mode is a thing, but Nikki is okay, man.
I've never been able to suspend my disbelief with Nikki ever.
That's probably because of her promo style and the fact that she can't say anything, even if she's mad and pissed, without sounding like this.
This goes so much deeper too in terms of how I feel about how a wrestler should act in the ring and outside of the ring, where Nikki does do all these amazing things outside of the ring to, work with children, and she's a hero to a lot of little girls, but then she's also going to be a heel on television, and
that's weird.
It's weird. It translates strange to me. Anyways,
you know what else is also really weird about that, just to expand on your point, is the fact that Brie Bella and Daniel Bryan have this association as this golden couple, and Miz and Maurice are evil, and now Bryan's going to have to completely ignore everything that Brie is doing on Raw, and unless they have Miz bring it up and make it some kind of super awkward comment to Daniel on SmackDown about what Brie's been doing, it's going to be really weird to consider the fact that he's just okay with his wife turning her back and mercilessly beating down Ronda Rousey in the ring on Raw. So there is a bit of a disconnect there as far as the Daniel Bryan angle goes.
It was only a month ago. They were wrestling together. They were wrestling evil together.
It was less than a month ago, probably.
Less than a month ago, yeah.
I think it was pretty recent. Actually, no, SummerSlam is long. Wow, time flies.
Oh, SummerSlam, Jesus. Anyways.
That was August.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to anything that Rousey does. I feel like I'm almost in the minority at this point because I don't know how many people really love Rousey, but I think she's fucking awesome, and I still think she's badass. And just because, like, especially what she did for MMA, and just she is super badass.
She's still getting a pretty good reaction out there, man. And I think for the most part, despite, any backlash she may have from some super annoying Smarky fans that might just be like, no, Ronda's overrated. She's not as good as everybody says she is. I think that she's still poised. She's still poised to be the next kind of big thing in the division. And she's still super green. And the fact that she can go out there and just do these judo throws and whip people around like this already is, I mean, it's a good sign. It's a good sign.
She got the most devastating Samoan drop I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
She's slamming her head back into somebody's stomach as she's throwing them down.
Samoan drop and twist. You can go to hell.
Thank you, thank you, Tony.
Full arm dragon twist. Hey, speaking of from another era, we now have Trish Stratus and Lita tagging against Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. Trish's kind of awkward promo stylings aside, are you excited for this match?
Fun fact, I was on a conference call with Trish Stratus yesterday, today being Thursday, we're taping this.
Oh, that's awesome.
So Wednesday, and somebody asked her, they said, so what happened? You're supposed to be in a one-on-one match, but now it's a tag team match. And she just legitimately said, she's like, I'm not too sure. I think it was just creative, had a different idea for us. So now it's going to be me and Lita, and it's going to be fun because she has the history with Mickie James, and she thinks that, like, Alexa, there's a lot of Trish in Alexa, kind of like a modern day Trish Stratus. So she thinks that it's going to be exciting. But yeah, she actually just said that she doesn't really know why it happened. It's just creative, kind of went in that direction.
I think it's a good idea, considering the fact that both Trish and Lita are so far removed from competition, and then you've got Alexa Bliss. And, Mickie James may be a little stronger in the ring than Alexa Bliss at this time, but I'd say none of them really are, at the moment, like the most premier level in-ring workers, right? So if you look at Alexa Bliss versus Trish Stratus on its own, and you look at separately just Lita versus Mickie James, which I don't know where the storyline for that would have really come from, but like to combine these into two matches or into one match, I think is very smart because on their own, I don't see them as being that great. And I think that they had a big chance of just being kind of duds, right? Especially with everything behind Trish coming back, and they could have made the heat, pretty decent, but I just don't see them having a barn burner out there, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, you throw them together. Trish and Lita have the history together, so it's fun to see them together. And then Alexa and Mickie are doing their thing. Mickie, by the way, looking spectacular. Absolutely
she did look great. She did look great.
Fantastic.
You get Trish out there doing the Stratusfaction. You tag in, Lita, have her do a moonsault, and you go home. You don't make it too long. You just get them out there to play the hits, and then if you want to do anything moving forward based on how it goes, that's fine. But I think it's smart for all involved. Yeah, I agree with.
I think the tag match will be fun. I'll enjoy it. I've always been a Trish fan, just mostly because she's Canadian, and I like that.
It's an attraction. It's just an attraction. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, guys. You know what I'm
saying? Should they work slow?
As long as they just take their time and sell a lick, they should be fine.
Oh, thank you, JR.
Charlotte and Becky, last woman standing, first time ever. How do you feel about this? First time ever on the main roster.
Yeah. I'm fired up for it. This has been, out of everything that's been happening in WWE, this has been one of the better feuds, rivalries, whatever you want to call it, over the past few months. And I think they've been putting on really good matches, and I'm excited to see where it keeps going.
There's not much to say other than this should be great.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. This has got to be the main event. You got to think, right?
I would hope so, but let's be honest. SmackDown is still the B show. I honestly feel like it's going to be Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella on the top of the card. I just have that feeling.
At this point,
that's the biggest mainstream draw, man. It's Ronda Rousey. It's Nikki Bella. They both are famous to the point that they transcend pro wrestling. So
I agree.
That's what it is.
Charlotte is getting there for me. She's one of the biggest stars and is close to being that cross-platform star to me.
She's great.
Yeah.
Did you see? Well, obviously you saw the spot, but when she cut her hand and she was crying, were those real tears? I feel like that was real.
I feel like that was real for sure.
Yeah, she was in a lot of pain.
Yeah, she was in pain, and I feel like she might have been like thinking like, "Holy shit, what have I done?" Like I might have just totally like fucked up a few weeks of television here.
Yeah, she's like, shit, Evolution's coming up, and I just broke my hand, and I'm not going to be able to go to the biggest card ever. And as we know, anybody with the last name Flair can summon tears at the drop of a hat. So
immediately,
it's like, remember that time I burnt my toast? Oh God! Oh, it's so sad. Woo!
It's so easy.
How does he do it? Yeah,
I don't know.
Whatever. The match is going to be fucking sweet. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Yeah. One quick point for Charlotte.
Yep.
I definitely disagreed with her going off the top rope to do that moonsault and landing on her feet. That is a long way to go for like a 6-foot-tall woman who's covered in muscle. I mean, that's a lot of weight to put on your foot, man. And the way her leg gave out like that when she landed, you could even hear Tom Phillips and everybody in the booth. They're like, "Oh God!"
Yeah.
That scared the shit out of me, man. And then she tried to kill herself by ramming Becky through the LED board.
Put your body on the line, man. That's why I love Charlotte. She's willing to risk it all.
Yeah.
She wants to risk it for the biscuit, as they say in the hockey business.
Nah, I hate that.
All right, carry on.
The NXT title match is also going to be on the card. Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. I'm not fully caught up on NXT, but their first match was fire, so this one should be great too.
Should be a good match, yeah.
And then, of course, there's going to be the Mae Young Classic finale. Is it spoilers to read this match? That's already aired, right? Like we know who the finalists are.
I have no idea.
Okay, we'll skip ahead 30 seconds if you want to hear it, but it's Io Shirai versus Toni Storm, both of whom I think are poised to have huge runs in WWE post Mae Young Classic / post whatever they do at NXT / if they avoid the NXT UK scene and actually end up on the main roster.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Io Shirai, but
Io.
Yeah, Io, whatever.
Eroy.
Uh-oh.
Eroy, get your ass in gear.
Elroy. It's like Crash Holly back in the day. Jericho called him Elroy.
Nice.
My boy, Elroy. Toni Storm's pretty cool, though. I like her.
Yeah, she's super popular. I guess we got a couple like leftovers here that we should maybe talk about. How about the fact that, keeping it with the women, Lana is apparently a Russian hacker, I'm assuming. That's what they meant. You got hacked, Aiden. Lana is the best hacker that no longer has accent, but she's still hacking skills.
You know, Donald Trump's not the only one who watches copious amounts of network news television. I'm sure Vince has his eye. He's like, the Russians. They're the hackers. Lana. This is brilliant.
Well, goddamn, pal, we got to figure out how they got the video. Lana's Russian. She's a hacker.
And this is when we find out, finally, that Lana was behind GTV. This is when it comes out.
Wasn't that supposed to be Gold Dust?
Yeah, it was. It was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But then he went to WCW.
Yeah, and then he became 7 or whatever the hell.
I don't know.
Which is really weird. How'd you feel about this? Aiden finally going full heel by being like, when you're done with Rusev Day, how about an Aiden night? Oh, I mean sex.
Yes, I approve.
Okay.
That's goddamn kid. That's why you come to the show for analysis like that.
I don't know. Do you like it? Are you a fan of it? Whatever.
It's really neither here nor there. You're right. It's just there. I
watched it and I was just like, sweet. All right, cool. I'll watch next week still. Yeah, sure.
It's something, I guess. It's something to open a show.
Yeah.
It's something that's not even like a mid-card thing at this point.
It is what it is.
We were a tag team.
There's 52 fucking weeks of television that you got to fill. We got to do something. Got to keep the ball rolling.
We were a tag team. We were super over, and now we're not. That's the story.
And then he's going to drive a tank again.
I mean, that'd be cool. Bring back the tank.
He's going to run over Aiden. That'd be cool.
So, hey, speaking of tanks running over things, Bobby Lashley turned heel and just demolished Kevin Owens to get KO off TV for a while. How do you feel about that?
This was the best thing on Raw and SmackDown this week.
It was pretty masterfully done, was it not?
It was spectacular. I loved it. The match was really good, too.
Lashley!
Yeah, Leo Rush, what an annoying little prick. It was spectacular. And fuck, if KO comes back as a babyface, I'm going to be super fired up. just because KO, I think he's got the charisma and everything you need just to be like a good babyface that doesn't need to say a lot but can just beat somebody's ass and just be badass. I think it'd be fucking great.
I think it would be good too. Potential next opponent for Bobby Lashley looks like it might be a Finn Balor, which is good. Anything to get him out of this feud with Jinder Mahal and Bayley and Alicia Fox.
Talk about fast forwarding. I'll tell you what I fast forward through. Jesus.
Yeah, it's not so great.
No. But the KO Bobby double turn. If it was indeed a double turn, if KO comes back as a babyface, it was spectacular. It was really good.
I was super confused at first because I was like, okay, if they're trying to get Bobby Lashley over with this, it's not working. I was like, every time Lio Rush opens his mouth, I'm getting really angry. And the crowd is booing. And it was more and more evident by the end of the match that, like, clearly Bobby Lashley was playing along. Kevin Owens does this tope con hilo over the top rope. And I'm like, dude, you can't have the heel out there flipping over the top rope.
Yeah.
And he did something else in the match, too, that was spectacular. And I can't remember what it was. But I was just like, okay, they're clearly doing this with a purpose.
I'll tell you what it was.
One guy looked great and one guy looked bad. But Lashley, ever since, like, Saturday at the Super Showdown, is just like, you know what? I'm mean now.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck everybody. Leo, let's go.
Yeah, my man, be an asshole. It'd be great.
The other big spot, I'll tell you what it was. It was the stunner. But unfortunately, he didn't put him away with it.
Goddamn kid, you forgot about the stunner. Kevin Owens, you gotta lay that shit in.
We already heard you.
Lay it in. That was weak as fuck.
Calm down. Want to move on to just 2 tweets?
Let's do it.
The following segment was paid for by the ADCs of wrestling.
Hey, yo. This is just 2 tweets.
Two tweets.
All right, 2 tweet me, bro. Let's do this. So we got a couple questions about the Undertaker, who's apparently been living in my basement. That's a development like a couple weeks ago on the show. So I guess we should maybe summon him. Mr. Taker, are you here? Mr. Taker?
Yeah, I'm here.
Jesus.
Where the hell's that Matt the Mark guy?
He's not here.
I don't know if I agree with this. Oh, it's better, Taker. Well, as long as Steve says it's better, I'll give him a shot.
All right. Okay. All right.
You're not as ugly.
All right, calm down.
Well, I appreciate that, I think. Sorry, Matt.
Are you intimidated right now, Kevin?
Well, I mean, it was just... There we go. Okay. Just a lot of that in my
sorry. A ball bearing in my hip just popped loose.
Okay.
You're going through a kidney stone.
Yeah, my eyes are stuck in the back of my head, boy.
Yeah, it's just a lot of right in my fucking face. Anyways.
Okay, so I'm just going to read you a tweet here.
Yeah.
Stu Little says, how do we know the real Undertaker is in your laundry room and not that imposter bitch she fought at SummerSlam 94?
That bitch from SummerSlam 94 is dead. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, really, though, you can tell because of my hat. It's a quality hat. It's a better quality hat.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, I can't agree. Yeah, I think that's the only answer. That's the true hat there.
That's it, the hat?
Yeah.
I don't know what you want from me. I'm a guy that lives in your laundry room, you bish.
Okay. So, Joe says, I was wondering if you could ask The Undertaker his thoughts on Shawn Michaels' completely bald look. Who sported it better, Hogan or him? Mr. Taker?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan, hands down.
Wow. So, very convinced on that. Why is that?
Those golden locks and that tan were a recipe for disaster, am I right? As far as wigs go, Vince McMahon has always had the best hair. Peace.
Oh, okay. That was really weird.
I agree with that one, Undertaker. McMahon has always sported a fine toupee. How am I here right now?
Was that Jesse Ventura?
Jesse, wow.
I gotta go. I live off the grid.
This went off the rails really quick. You got anything else, Mr. Undertaker?
Yeah, I think I should have full rights to the Sexy Boy theme song, because I got more hair than Michaels now. Suck it, you bish.
Well, that's what you get when you summon Mr. Taker, I guess.
Is Undertaker part of DX now? What's going on? Oh, there we go. Vanguard.
Yes. Okay, yes, Vanguard Dog 1 has calmed down, and Undertaker is now gone. We can now continue with all of these tweets. There's a lot of them this week. I'm actually really excited because I tried to go back to last week and get some of the ones that people had left for me, despite the fact that we had Thanksgiving and weren't able to get through all of them. So thanks, guys. I try to get the most of them.
Thanksgiving, I get it.
Yeah. Duran, here's a good one for you, Kevin. It says, since WWE 2K19 is coming out soon, what are some of the best wrestling games you've ever played?
Oh.
He also says, plus the Iconics have no rhythm at all. Hashtag never dance again. My favorite of all time is WCW NWO Revenge. That has my heart. I know it is not the same one you're going to say, and the one you're going to say is probably a little more highly regarded, but that is the nostalgia factor for me is that game. And also the thing that actually got me into wrestling in the first place, despite having watched it a few times before that, was WWF Royal Rumble for Super Nintendo, because a buddy of mine in the 5th grade was like, you got to rent this game. And I did. And we proceeded to play it for the entire weekend. And then I was like, okay, I got to start watching this shit.
So here's, I think you do know what I'm going to say, and it's WWF No Mercy for N64. What a fucking game that was.
Diggity dog.
Yeah. Diggity dog. Rick it. Yeah. It was like absolutely incredible. I played it for hours and hours and hours on end. I remember trying to unlock Shawn Michaels, because you could unlock Shawn Michaels if you won the championship at WrestleMania.
Nice.
Like if you won the hardcore title, you'd unlock Cactus Jack. There's a bunch of, like, you could unlock Earl Hebner randomly somehow. There was a ton of awesome games. I also played Royal Rumble for Super Nintendo, and I thought that was a dope game.
Yep.
And then I played, I think it was just called like WrestleMania, the arcade game or something for Sega Genesis, because that was like my first console that I ever had was Sega Genesis, and that was amazing. On PS2, I think it was like the first ever Raw versus SmackDown. Was a really good game. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I think it's got to be No Mercy for N64, with a special shout out to WrestleMania 2000. Also a kind of an underrated game for N64. Really enjoyed that one.
The Elite Beef says, hi guys, I'm a Detroit Red Wings fan, but I would like to know if you and pregnant Matt the Mark, well, he's not here today, but we do have the sports guy, think that Bodog is accurate, having the Maple Leafs being the odds-on favorite to win Lord Stanley's Cup. Well, as this is a Canadian podcast, I guess it's inevitable that eventually we would talk about hockey and the Maple Leafs. How do you feel about this, Kevin?
You want me to get into betting? I will. There is not a lot of sweet action, I think, to be betting on the Toronto Maple Leafs to win the Stanley Cup. Bet365, which I use quite often, has the Leafs at, I think, like plus 600 to win the Cup, and I don't like that action. The action that I'd rather have is like the Jets at plus 1,000 to win the Cup. I mean, I'd probably take the Penguins at plus 1,400. The Stars, I think, look pretty good at plus 2,200. I think the Lightning are probably second, but there's a lot of teams that I'd take before the Leafs to win the Cup, just because I don't think that the plus 600 it's really good, but I just don't think the action's good enough to lay it down. But the Red Wings,
goddamn, that's a lot of numbers.
Yes,
yeah, you're goddamn right. You want to talk about some sweet action? I'm all in on that. Let me tell you.
Sweet action aside, do you think that they're right having the Maple Leafs as the odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup? Because I think Beef really wants this to happen.
No, I don't think they are right. It's just the only reason they're the favorites is because there's more Maple Leaf fans than any other fan in the league, and there's a lot of Leaf fans betting on the Leafs.
That's wishful thinking.
That's why they're the favorites.
All right, Gingy says, can we get a match between Matt the Mark and Kevin Mick with Basement Steve as the special guest referee to decide the real co-host? I'm sure Steve will call it right down the middle.
I mean, hell yeah, I'd take that match, especially with Steve as the ref. Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, I'll call it down the middle. And if it's down the middle of Matt the Mark, there's still a full person on either side of it.
Wow, he's not even here to defend himself. This is really mean.
I don't give a shit. Last week he no-sold me. And I'm going to drop him on that stack of dimes he calls a neck and stomp a mud hole in his ass. Swig a beer for Matt the Mark getting his ass whipped, and that's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold said so.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. Matt the Mark's going to get a mud hole stomped in his ass.
In and around his ass.
And that's the bottom line. In and around, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Both of those things.
Martin Anderson. says, what's up with John Cena's hair? I don't know, man. I don't know. It looks super weird, but good for him for having hair.
I'm sure it's some movie that he's growing it for.
Yeah. He said on some like TMZ video he had a piece of good fortune, so he's got to keep the hair long. So, whatever. Jim Martin says, Taker and Kane, Lashley and Leo, Nikki and Brie. The last time this many people turned heel at once was the Invasion angle in 2001.
Oh, WCW for life.
Shut up, Steve. That was a stupid angle, and it's never going to be good in my opinion.
There's Matt the Mark.
Nice.
Suck it, he's not even here.
Zing. Yeah, that was a lot of heel turns. You know, I feel like that was a bit of a response to the ratings situation, don't you think? They were just like, hey, bro, here's the deal, bro. Just have everybody turn heel, bro. It's better. I
think, again, you could let the ratings dictate that thought, yes. But it could also just be that there's so many different writers that they're like, all right, we have all these different ideas, and they just happen to all happen on the same week.
Yeah,
but Jim,
or they were like in a holding. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, Jim, I think that's a valid point you make.
Yeah, or they were in a holding pattern until Super Showdown, and they're like, okay, let's launch all this other stuff that we got to get in motion before Crown Jewel and Survivor Series and Evolution and all that other stuff. Because there's too many damn things happening at once.
Don't forget SmackDown 1000.
Right,
and, sorry. I'm sure something else we're missing. I'm sure something else incredible in New Japan is happening as well.
Fucking WWE Wrecking Ball or whatever.
I came in like a rain. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me tell you something, brother. Wrecking Ball is going to be the greatest event in history, brother. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Incredible.
Sean in St. Louis says, could we be any less excited to see Shawn Michaels' return match? How do you blow that moment this badly? See, I guess he agrees with me. That's just like a total fart.
Oh, I totally... what Jim Ross would call it a fart in church, I think.
Yeah, that went over like a fart in church.
That's the one. Thank you, Jim. He's right, but unfortunately, you just got to follow the money on this one, and that's why it's happening.
Yeah, that's some sweet action right there.
That's some sweet action for Shawn Michaels. I'll tell you that. The Brinks truck backing up to the ranch in San Antonio, where his kids are getting homeschooled,
full of rifles.
Yep.
Pars, I've never seen him tweet us before, I don't think, so thank you for being a part of Just Do Tweets. At EasyB1818 says, oh boy, either DX versus Brothers of Destruction is going to be real good or real slow. Hashtag super slowdown. Hashtag however many tweets. Hashtag too many tweets. Yeah, I totally agree. It's definitely going to be a slow one. Especially considering just Taker and Kane. Like, how did they look out there on Saturday?
Kane barely did anything. He walked around, and he was mostly just like, he just kept screaming about being the mayor of Knox County. It was weird. And
I am the mayor of Knox County, and the devil's favorite demon.
The match was slow. It was Taker, Triple H. Like, it was too long. It was way too long. They could have done everything that they did in 10 minutes, and that would have been fine. You know, a la like Goldberg, Lesnar from WrestleMania 2 years ago, whenever it was. And it was just too long. They looked slow. You add two more guys, maybe that'll help. Maybe Michaels will help the speed a little bit, but I think it'll still be real slow, as our boy Pars said.
I think it's going to be exactly what we all know is going to happen. It's just like nobody's going to care, and they're going to work up to it, and then when finally Shawn Michaels gets in the ring, the roof will come off the place, and that's going to be the real tell-all moment, is if the guy can still go, and that's going to be it.
Yep.
And I look forward to seeing him work, but like I said, I wish it was one of these things where he came back as like GM of Raw or something for a while, and he had a personal issue with somebody, and they just worked up to it to the point where he's like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I could take you, and I've been waiting to say this for a long time, but I've got one more match in me, and I want to know if I could still go, and you're the guy to test it.
And then that's when, here comes the money, here we go. And then
he wrestles Shane McMahon?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, Shane seems to get all the big matches now.
Oh, God. Here's what's going to happen. Me and Sean are going to have a match, and I'm going to jump off some tall thing, and then I'm going to go away for a while.
That's pretty good.
That's what he does. He's very matter of fact. He's very corporate in the way he speaks. He holds his hand like this an awful lot.
If you can't see, but Andrew is currently pointing his finger at me.
He like angles his wrist kind of limply and like points at the same time. Just like, we're going to have a match at SmackDown Live 1000. I wonder if he'll be there. He is technically still the general manager of that show.
He's the commissioner of the show, yeah.
The commissioner, yeah.
Yeah.
We miss the commish. Mike Gordon says, if Shawn Michaels comes out of retirement, what one of these matches would you like to see? HBK versus AJ Styles, HBK versus Seth Rollins, versus Finn Balor, or versus Shinsuke Nakamura?
Ooh.
Hashtag
all very, very interesting options. I mean, for me personally, I would like to see HBK versus AJ Styles because it's almost like the two best of their generations going up against each other, and I think that'd be pretty cool.
I think that's the one. I think that's the one that's drawn the most comparisons. People are saying AJ Styles is basically that guy, that MVP of the roster. Rollins was getting a lot of those comparisons as well. It seems to be something that we like to do as wrestling fans. If there's a guy who's of a certain size and a certain caliber of work that seems to be the MVP of the Fed at the time, we compare him to HBK, especially if he's got, like longish hair and wears pants. Then we're just like, he's Dolph Ziggler or Shawn Michaels. Okay, AJ Styles, I'm Shawn Michaels. Seth Rollins is Shawn Michaels. A Jace.
A Jace, very nice. Shout out to Cheap Heat back in the day.
Yep.
I
think it's Styles, yeah.
Yep, Styles, for sure.
The inclusion here of Nakamura is really interesting to me because if Nakamura had been built up to the point that he was in NXT and HBK came back, say when he was still down there, it would have been a very interesting kind of fight. It's like the Sweet Chin Music versus the Kinshasa. Whoever can land that one powerful blow to the face. And Nakamura is a real enigma, and Shawn Michaels could have probably carried some of the weight of the promos, and it would have been really cool. But unfortunately, Nakamura is pretty invisible at the time, so I think it would go over like a fart in church, Kevin.
It'd be really unique, Jim, just because Michaels never really had a big time feud against somebody that of the New Japan ilk, like one of the big stars in New Japan. So
yeah, like the closest thing was Vader. Because he was over there.
Yeah, and I don't know, Vader in WWF didn't really go over that well. So, I mean, it would be kind of cool to see HBK and Shinsuke, but, I agree. I'd say the betting money would be HBK and AJ.
I would also like to throw in that ring the suggestion of one more match between a returning Chris Jericho and a Shawn Michaels, because they have deep-rooted personal issues, Kevin.
They certainly do, Jim. That's right. And, Unforgiven 2008, what a match they had. And then the ladder match they had after that as well. That was super dope.
And like the WrestleMania 19 match, they had all these slobber knockers in their catalog, and I think that they could both pull one more out. At least the promos and the storytelling would be fantastic. Because Chris Jericho is still doing it out there as far as
maybe
telling good
HBK is
stories.
Maybe he's going on the Jericho cruise. Maybe that's next.
Wow. Breaking hearts in international waters.
We haven't talked about the Jericho Cruise. That's this month as well. Don't forget that event.
Oh, great. Yeah. Andy says, do you think Owens and Zayn will be a face team once Sammy comes back? Hashtag I miss Sammy. That's totally a possibility, too. And I think a lot of people are thinking about it as a good idea.
I think so, too. I just think Sammy's a long way down the road. I think his recovery is just starting.
Well, apparently Kevin Owens is having knee surgery, and it's going to be a substantial recovery time for him as well. So maybe it'll put them in the same ballpark, and you could hold one guy out for a long time and have them come back together or something. I don't know.
That'd be kind of cool. I'd like that. Mostly, again, two good Canadian kids. Good Canadian boys there.
Oh, boy. Boy. Maybe you have them come back and topple a now dominant AOP team along with the world's greatest porn star, Drake Maverick, who, by the way, gave us a shout-out and told people to download the show and stuff after stealing the meme I made of him. So that's nice of him. Good chap.
Yeah. Cheerio.
Also, if you noticed, I posted a tweet and a picture the other day that Kurt Hawkins looks exactly like Seth Green now, when Seth Green had long hair and stuff in a suit. So check that out. Raider Max says, if Space Jam was about a wrestler instead of a basketball player, who do you think would be best for the job? John Cena and The Rock are not acceptable answers. I think KO would be amazing, he says. See, I've grouped them together. These are all KO-centric. See what I did there?
I did. Yeah, great job, man.
Yeah, I'm really good.
Yeah. So is the movie...
I guess it would be like It'd be like a wrestler goes to another dimension where cartoons are all wrestling and there's a big match that they have to win.
And so he wrestles with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and everybody.
And Elmer Fudd and whatnot.
Okay. This is an intriguing question.
It's a very strange question.
Be very quiet. I'm hunting monsters. Here, John Cena and The Rock, not acceptable answers, according to Raider Max.
I mean, KO's a good one. It is a good one. He makes everything work.
KO would be pretty good. I mean, I think Jericho would work, too.
Jericho would be good.
Jericho's got the charisma. He's got the chops to kind of pull that off, to act alongside.
How about Dean Ambrose? He's wacky.
He is wacky, except he just the movie would just end up being like a 2-hour action flick where he kills everything.
You know what I feel like is like the most wholesome answer and would totally work in a WWE Films context? The Miz. He's their like favorite little actor boy now. He's the A-lister.
Coming out next summer, the star of Marine 14, Mike the Miz, in Space Wrestle.
Whoa, you guys are cartoons. This is awesome.
Be great.
That's right, Miz.
Yeah, what's up, Miz? That'd be great.
Yeah.
Also, I could see AJ Styles doing it just because it'd be really funny. Oh, man, you guys are like crazy little cartoon guys. This is awesome. Too sweet me.
This is the planet that Bugs Bunny built.
Nice. There you go. Paul Skeevers says, Daniel Bryan says The Miz is a 2-minute man. I heard he was a 2-second man. Hashtag that.
Hey-o. Hey,
hashtag Miz sucks. Hey-o, I heard that too. Miz junk sucks. Too sweet me, Paul. Mary Carr says, too many network specials has led to awful build-up for all of them. Not sure if I'm going to watch Evolution. It's a pay-per-view, only women, no dudes. As the only interesting match is Becky-Charlotte, which you know Charlotte is going to win because she's got to be first at everything. That's a valid point. Do you believe Charlotte will be the first to win the first ever last woman standing match? Because she gets fucking everything like that.
There's a lot of firsts that you just threw at me. The answer is yes. Charlotte will win the first ever last woman standing match at the first ever all women's pay-per-view. No dudes.
And I will be watching with a tear in my eye. Woo! Oh, that toast was so burnt, though. I can't believe what happened to that toast.
It's all right, Rick. We'll get over this.
And I had one more here from Andy that says, this World Cup thing they're doing for Crown Jewel is going to lead to Hulk Hogan coming back, isn't it? I have a bad feeling.
Let me tell you something, dude. If there's one guy who should win a World Cup, it's the red and yellow. What you gonna do when Hulk Hogan runs wild on you?
Yeah, it's going to be Jeff Hardy's going to get hurt right before somebody's going to attack Jeff. Or Randy Orton's going to stick fucking screwdrivers through his ears and pin him to the wall so he can't escape.
Gross.
And then instead, the first round match, all you're going to hear is den, 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 and you're like, the real American is here.
Yeah.
The largest arms in the world are here to drop a big boot and a big leg on Saudi Arabia, brother.
It's going to drop something big, a big deuce.
That would go over like a fart in church, Kevin.
Yeah, you're right, Jim.
That'd be really great. Hey, why don't you plug your stuff, Kevin? Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Kevin Michie. That's Michie. You can find me on City TV most weekends now, doing the City TV Toronto, doing the 6 and 11 o'clock news. I'll be your sports guy, and then from time to time, you'll see me on the Sportsnet desk during the week. Also, sportsnet.ca. I got some wrestling stuff coming out ahead of Evolution. I'm going to be live blogging Survivor Series this year next month. I'll have a preview and a recap of Survivor Series as well. Just fucking go to my Twitter. I tweet shit there.
You heard the man.
And don't bother going to Matt the Mark's Twitter because he ain't got shit to plug, and that's the bottom line.
Well, one more time from Steve, I guess. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. Tell your friends about the ADC dub. We love doing it for you guys, but we need a little help. We need some more listeners, more, word of mouth, all that stuff. That'd be great. Follow us at ADCs of Wrestling. Don't forget to tweet us if you want to be a part of the show using hashtag just2tweets. That's the number 2, not the word 2. And you can follow me at Andrew David Cox on Twitter. And I guess that's it. We'll see you next week. Ball game.